TitleMatchNetwork.com.
Did you ever attempt to go back to WWE? Because there was one, I guess at one time there was talk about you training, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I fell into the same pit I'd fallen into years ago with WWF, where you know how they do their dealings and stuff. They like to dangle a carrot. So, excuse me. What I did was I had a regular job for 4.5 years or so, and I said I'm losing my fucking mind here. I said I got to get out of this. I got to do something. I said let's be a realist here. I'm 51 years old, but at the time maybe I was 49. I think. I said let me call up the office and see if I can get a job at either OBW or Atlanta at the time. So I called John Laurinaitis and we got to talking and back and forth we went. And he says, well, don't, let me run this by my creative team. I said, well, he said, well, let me run this by this one. Let me run this by that one. He says, touch base with me this day or that day. And I did. And I would make the phone calls and he's in a meeting, so then he'd call you, finally I got his cell phone number. This went on for about 2 months. Finally, I got his cell phone number from Shawn and Shawn Michaels. So I called him on his cell phone and I said, well, what's going on with this? He said, well, Jimmy, he says, give me I'm away on vacation now. Just give me, I'm going to get back to you in a few days or a week or whatever it was. So he left me a message on the on my home answering machine. He didn't even speak to me. He left me a message on my home answering machine that, at this present time, we have nothing for you, but that's not to say that nothing will become available in the near future. Touch base with me after WrestleMania. And this must have been 2 WrestleManias ago, or at least 2 WrestleManias ago. So, I did that. I touched base with him after WrestleMania, and he set up a meeting for me to go to the office. So I go up to the office, and they let me sit downstairs in the lobby graciously, for 30 minutes until they got whatever they had to do all set up upstairs and let me go through security and upstairs. And we sat in his office, and we brainstormed for a little while as to what to do. And I said, well, if you can't, he said, well, they're closing OBW, and we're going to open up a place in Tampa, and Kern's going to run it. And, we got Atlanta. Well, I think Atlanta closed first, I believe.
Yeah.
Atlanta closed first. You're right. Atlanta closed first at OBW in Atlanta. We got plenty of trainers. I said, well, you know what? I said, put me on the damn TV on your third tier show, your ECW show. Let me work with the younger guys. I'm still in shape. I can still work. I can still work. So he says, well, we got this one and we got that one. So back and forth we went. And I said, ideally, a place for me to be will be in training the young guys in one of the facilities. Can you, help get me in there? And he had just rattled off a bunch of stuff that he had done for some of the other old veterans, I should say, Tony Atlas, Dr. Dead Steve Williams. He told me about him giving them bookings and him helping them out here and there. So that tells you right there it's a political thing. Mm-hmm. So anyways, well, Jim, let me run some of these ideas and see what creative can come up with. And again, I fell for that whole thing. He says, so back and forth trying to call him, and he's in a meeting, he's on vacation and all that whole shit. The carrot's being dangled out in front of me. And again, I get the same thing, at this current time, there's nothing available for you, but that's not to say nothing will become available in the near future. Stay in touch with us. And they're like, fuck, So it was like, I don't know how many months later, they were having a show. They were having a Raw show at the Meadowlands Arena, which is now the Izod Center. And I said, let me just go down there and see the boys, because I knew it was a Raw. So some of the guys behind the scenes, Steamboat, I wanted to see. Rotundo, I know Piper was there. I didn't know Barry Windham was there. I didn't recognize him. But some of the guys behind the scenes I want to see, because the boys now, I don't, other than Shawn and Undertaker, I don't really know too many of the boys that are working right now. So I went down there with no intention of speaking to John at all. And John saw me, and he must have got the idea or the thought that, oh, Jim's here to see me again. He's going to bug me for a fucking job, which he said. He looked at me from a distance. He goes, no, I'll get with you later. I'll get with you later, So I said, no. I said, that's okay. That's okay. He goes, no, I'll see you later. We'll have a meeting later. Anyway, so he pulls me in a room, and I said, he says, listen, Jim, he says, I know you want to go down there. We got Tampa opened up. We got a ring in there. We do TV. We're running Florida Championship Wrestling. He's building this whole thing up for me. He says, how do you get along with Kern? I said, me and Kern get along great. We've had some good matches. I said, Steve's a tremendous mind for the business. He says, well, we got him running it. We're doing this and doing that and that. I said, well, can you get me, He says, I think, he says, how's your work? Can you work? I said, well, I'm in good shape. I can still work. And I'd like to train the guys, work some Florida Championship Wrestling shows. I said, that'd be great. I said, if you can get me down. He goes, you know what I'm going to do? He says, I'm going to text him right now. I'm going to set up a time and a meeting and a date for you to go down there. And so he's working the text gimmick.
Right.
He's doing that whole thing to me. He's looking up at me. He's going, damn, these damn text things, I don't even know how to get, oh, shit. He's working it like he's having a difficult time doing the texting, right? So, I'm sitting there and I said, listen, Johnny, I said, I think I'd be an asset to the company. I said, I'm still in good shape. I said, I can still work. I think the young guys, I can teach them some psychology, some basic wrestling moves, some solid basic wrestling moves. I said, I think if you talk to Kern or whatever you do, your communications with current, they all have nothing but good things to say about me. He says, yeah, that's great. He said, we're going to get you down there for maybe 3-5 days. We'll get you down there, get you set up, have you work a little bit, see how you look and all that stuff. And, well, here I sit. Nothing came of that shit either. So,
Wow.
and I just kicked my own ass because I said I fucking fell for it 3 times.